There are some people who go to the exam and they feel that they know everything. They understand the requirement, well, because they say, I'm a native speaker, I can understand that. I do see the differences, I do see the tones, but still they do not get their pass rate. Or they get something like 45 or 49. That is the mark that should be banned from ACCA forever, for not to disturb, not upsetting students. So, why do they fail? Well, people may fail because sometimes it is hard to formulate the answer that brings marks. Well, for example, at this very level, the examiner does not want you to show how you know or do not know the theory. They want you to make this theory applicable to the scenario. So you need to know how to do that, how to cite the scenario, how to make proper conclusion, when to draw examples, when not to draw, and so on. Also, many people do not know rules that are non-spoken. Well, for example, that if a question is about not-for-profit organizations and you are asked to assess value for money, then you are required to talk about 3E. And 3 questions are answered in a certain way. So you need to start with the definition of each and every E, then you need to explain why this is the resource or why this is the output, why this is important, and then you need to measure and you need to compare for each of these 3 E's. And people do not know that, well, because if you just read a book on theory, you just read a book on theory. How could you have gotten that idea? Well, if you read as many examiner reports as I did, if you read all of the previous past papers, examiner's report, and not only examiner's report, but also model answers, then you would know. But you're a human being who has work obligations, who has family obligations, who has hobbies. Of course, it's impossible for you to get that level of preparation. So that is why I do that for you. Another problem is that it is really hard to memorize everything. Well, I mean, literally, have you seen the book and have you noticed that each and every model takes something like 1 page and then there is another model and another model and another model, and you do not really understand how they are tied together. And even more, there's some models that are misinterpreted by students 100% of the time. Well, for example, when we talk about responsibility accounting or transfer pricing, well, no, people do not understand that in the right way. They have misconception, and when they approach a question, it's 100% chance that they will not do it right. Also, the problem is that there is no proper understanding of professional marks. You do know that now you get 20 marks out of 100 that are given for your professional abilities. And that is a lot. Well, before we had only 4, and still there were many people who passed with a mark of 50, 51. And before, you could have ignored the marks, although I told you how to get these marks. But now, well, it's just impossible to take 50 marks out of 80 technical. You need your professional marks. You need to know what to pay attention for when you see, okay, there's some marks for commercial for commercial acumen, for your skepticism or whatever. And last but not the least, what I want to say is that sometimes you are too smart. You start talking about your work experience. You start suggesting something that is really cool. Ideas are amazing. I really like them, but the problem is that they do not fall into the marking scheme. And as such, you just waste your time and you do not get any marks. And that is the problem.